So hi, very good morning. I hope you all have joined now. So today we will be discussing about lipids. Yeah. The biochemistry of lipids. So it's a short one, this lecture, then we'll go to the further long one later. So basically they are neutral lipids. Lipids, they are, as we have discussed in our one of the lectures in previous days, that lipids mainly contains your hydrophilic and hydrophobic group, that is amphipathic, and the water attracting groups are exposed outside in them and the hating groups are inside. And the neutral lipids are basically the triglycerides made up of three fatty acids linked to the glycerol, and they have no polar group as the phospholipids do. So they may have this hydrophobic tail, but they do not have hydrophilic head in these neutral lipids. So now let's discuss about phospholipids. The phospholipids are the complex of lipids or compounds of lipids which contains your phosphoric acid and in addition to your fatty acids, nitrogenous base and alcohol. So normally the lipids contains your fatty acids, a nitrogenous base group and alcohol group, but in addition to that, in the phospholipids they are also having this phosphoric group, phosphoric acid. And there are two classes of phospholipids, that is glycerophospholipids, yeah, and sphingophospholipids. So the glycerophospholipids, the same things that we have discussed, they will have addition to that glycerol and alcohol, yeah, they will have glycerol and alcohol, whereas the sphingophospholipids, they will have sphingosine plus alcohol, they will have sphingosine plus alcohol, right? So glycerophospholipids, let's take one by one. So they are the major lipids that occur in the biological membranes and they consist of glycerol 3-phosphate. If you remember from the glycolysis cycle, so in there is a glycerol 3-phosphate is produced also. So that's the same one, glycerol 3-phosphate, which get esterified. The esterification is happen at the carbon 1 and carbon 2 with the fatty acids. So one of the example of this phosphatic is phosphoric acid. Yeah, the phosphoric acid structures looks like something like this. So it has three carbons. Yeah, carbon 1, 2 and 3, right? um, Here they are saying the carbon 1 and 2 get esterified with fatty acids. So their fatty acids group, sorry, COO, and there's a side chain is added to it. So they got esterified, and to the third carbon atom your phosphoric acid is added. So that's the whole structure of your phosphoric acid. Yeah, this one, this one, and this one. So this one is something, this is estrous bond, and this is your phosphoric bond. So this is the whole structure of your phosphoric acid. So they are the simplest phospholipids, and they occur in good concentration in the tissues. In tissues, they are found out in really good amount, and they are one of the simplest one. And phosphoric acid is an intermediate in the synthesis of triglycerols and phospholipids. Another glycerophospholipids, it's a spelling mistake, it should be L, containing different nitrogenous group or other groups may be regarded as the derivatives of the phosphoric acid. So let's discuss one by one of them. So there is called phosphodiecholine, so name as lecithins. Yeah. So in them, in the phosphate group, they have also choline added to it. So they are found in the egg yolk, and to the phosphate group choline is added as a base here, and these phosphodicolines represent the storage form of body choline. So choline is added in this form. So the same 1, 2, 3. So ester group, your here is added, fatty acid here added, your phosphoric group is added. Then to that is your choline here, CH2, CH2 and CH3 three times. Yeah, this is the structure of your lecithins, right? Um, this is the complex form of that 1,2-dihexa deconyl SN glycero 3-phosphocholine. This is a bit complex structure of the same. Then comes cephalins. In them, actually, with respect to phosphoric acid, you have ethanol amine is added. Yeah, phosphodiol ethanolamine. So ethanolamine is the nitrogenous base present in this cephalins. So the same 1, 2, 3. You add these fatty acids group here, fatty acids. You add here phosphoric group, and to this phosphoric group is your this one, CH2, CH2, NH3 is your phosphodiol ethylamine. Then there is a phosphodiesterine which will have phosphoric acid plus serine. So this way every this grouping is done. It's very easy to understand that, like this, and towards this phosphoric group is your serine is added with CH2, CO, CH2 here, and NH3 ammonia group is here. So they are found in some certain tissue only, and they have amino acid serine added to it. Then there is a plasmalogens. So when fatty acids is attached by an ether linkage at the carbon 1 of the glycerol in the glycerophospholipids, the resultant compound is called as plasmalogen. So in this carbon 1 here, instead of these fatty acids, you have an ether group. Yeah, an ether is added, so it's become your plasmalogens. Then there's a cardiolipins. They are isolated from the heart muscles, and they are consist of two molecules of phosphatic acids by an um, uh, additional glycerol through the phosphate group. So there are two phosphatic acid that we have discussed. They are got attached to each other, and to one of the phosphate group an additional glycerol is also attached. So that's the structure of your cardiolipins. So what are the functions of these phospholipids? So structurally they are very important membrane and regulate membrane permeability, that what goes in, what goes out from the membrane. They really take care of that, and it participates also absorption of fat from the intestine. So all the fat that is coming from the stomach and whole digestion, so the intestine is able to absorb that, and these phospholipids are helping in it, and they are quite essential for the different lipoproteins, yeah, and participates in the transport of lipids also. Yeah. So something to deal with all lipids and lipoproteins and related to that. Then comes the next important part after the phospholipids is the cholesterol. So they are found in animals, and it's also called as animal sterol. They are called as animal sterol. So 1 gram cholesterol consumed per day in our body. So our body consumes 1 gram of cholesterol per day, and they provide integrity to the cell membrane and the biosynthesis of bile acids. Very important. They help in the production of bile acid, and they provide integrity, like the maintenance of the cell membrane. So how is the biosynthesis of cholesterol working as? So their sources of energy. So we will do in details later about it. But their source of energy in them is your ATP, and the precursors that we use the acetate of acetyl coenzyme A. So it's done in the 5 steps. First, malonate from acetate are produced. Then HMG coenzyme A. then production of isoprenoid unit, then synthesis of squalene, and the conversion of squalene to the cholesterol. So in these 5 steps, your basics biosynthesis of cholesterol is done. So this was a little bit introduction towards your lipids here. Now some more advanced. So as we have discussed, they are the organic compounds that are mainly made from the alcohol and fatty acids, and they are combined with the ester linkage. So there's a fatty alcohol, R side chain CH2OH. This is a fatty alcohol, and this is the fatty acids OHCOR. So esterase enzyme is added, lipase enzyme is added, H2 is removed, OH from H from here. So this is your ester, a lipid, RCH2OCOR, and so on. Yeah. So this is the structure of uncommon glycerol that we were discussing. In the phospholipids, there is C, 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 3 carbons, and to them 3 hydroxyl groups are added, and then H, hydrogen atoms to complete its valency. Then glycerol esters, they are the acyl glycerols. So this is the glycerol as we can see, and the triglyceride glycerol actually is made up of by addition of these glycerides towards the 3 carbon atoms of your glycerol. You add your OOO, then COCOCO, then CH2 number of n number of times, and CH3. So they are the most abundant family of lipids in plants and animals, and major component of our human diet. The glycerol esters, the triglycerides, and the fatty acids could be as long as it's possible. So this is a hydrocarbon chain. So the first carbon towards the carboxylic group will be alpha, then beta, then gamma, and this chain would be of CH3, CH2, and COO. So CH3, CH2, and COO. So this is the long chain of your fatty acids. Yeah. And classification, if we see, so these fatty acids that we are talking about, so they could be divided into according to the carbon number, chain nature, and saturation. And according to the saturation, they could be saturated, unsaturated, like single and double bond. And there could be even number carbon atoms, odd number of carbon atoms. The CH2, this N could be 3 or it could be 4. Yeah. And how the chain is it substituted, straight, branch, cyclic? So this chain, how the chain is the hydrocarbon chain. So depending upon that, they could be divided into 4 parts. So the saturated and unsaturated fatty acids that we were discussing here, saturation and saturated. The unsaturated could be MUFA and PUFA, and PUFA could be of 2 types, omega-6 PUFA and omega-3 PUFA. Yeah. So this omega-6 PUFA, it has 2 different types. It has 18 carbon omega-6 PUFA, which we get from plants, that is your linoleic acid, and then long chain omega-6 PUFA that we get from meat, arachidonic acid. Whereas omega-3 PUFA, it has 18 carbon, which also we get from plants, it's alpha linoleic acid. And the long chain omega-3 PUFA that we get from marine life, from the fishes, icosapetonic acid. Yeah. So in this way, further variation within the saturation and unsaturated could be divided as this follow. So what's the main difference between your saturated and unsaturated? So as I said, there's a long chain of fatty acids. So there's a carboxylic group is added at the end. And this hydrocarbon, mainly how it is it single or is it branched? Now it is saturated or it is substituted, how it is. So mainly if there is single bonds, there is no double bonds, that will be a saturated fatty acids. But if it is there is a double bond now, like it is going straight, suddenly there is a double bond here, and this will make it to the unsaturated fatty acid. So that's the main difference in them. So this is the chain of saturated fatty acids, and this is the mono unsaturated fatty acids. Mono means containing only one double bond. Point of unsaturation containing one double bond. And the polyunsaturated fatty acids, they contain more than one double bond. So this one and this one, this will be a polyunsaturated fatty acids. So as soon as these have double bonds, the angle of the structure will be also changed. You can see it was going all straight, straight. Suddenly it bends. So some of the example of these fatty acids as a saturated, monosaturated and polyunsaturated, and how many number of carbon atoms present in them, or how many number of double bonds are there, and some nomenclature how they are signified with the symbol. So palmitic acids, stearic acids, they are saturated both. Then oleic acid, it is a monosaturated with the one double bond. Then alpha linoleic acid with three, yeah, and then icosapentaenoic acid that we have discussed, EPA 5. So you will see, when you get food products, in the ingredients, the processed food that mostly we are having are, these Vita, Milo, all these. This is all crap actually. Never ever. I really against having these milkshakes. This Vita, Milo, Horlicks. They have full of sugar, full of, you will see these things in them, and it's better you eat, jaggery. You take full cup, you take a full amount of your jaggery in a um, in one bowl, and that will be equivalent to 2 tablespoons of that powder. So this is seriously, I'm not against like these things, but that's the reality. I can show you the ingredients of Vita. So it have malt extract, that is this is sugar. It has sugar, cocoa solids, yeah, a little bit milk solids, little bit liquid glucose is there, emulsifiers 322, 471, and they have raising reagents, and very minute amount some vitamins will be there, minerals, salt, and they have this natural color, permitted natural color, added flavors, artificial vanilla flavoring substance. Tell me, they're telling that this Cadbury Pro Health chocolate drink, Cadbury Vita Pro Health chocolate drink. They're showing these kids they are growing because of eating this Pro Health vitamins. They're saying D, B12, B9, B. They might be have they might have added to it, but I'm pretty sure they are not as much as required for the human health. Yeah. So for that, it's not as they should be. So you can see here these approximate values are based of the randomized double-blind placebo-controlled clinical trials. Only 227 students. This is students whosoever has joined me. So we are a medicinal biochemistry students here. So the medicine straightforwardly is saying a lot of things here. So they're saying all these star and which were hidden. Yeah, nobody reads about these. So the nutrients, you can see in the nutrients on the top corner here, it's written a star on that. So there everything is hidden actually. So these are approximate values they are saying, and they are not sure whether, because Yeah, so Pro Health is a creative retention for the vitamin bundle of D, B29, B12. Okay. And based on the outcome of only 227 children who drank Bonvita with milk as compared to the children who drank only regular beverage with milk over the period of 150 days. Okay, they conducted these experiment with 227 students only 227 students, and hemoglobin and serum ferritin were used as a iron status markers. Okay, fine, but see, my point is here, whenever you want to state something, they say that this is acid metabolism and all these, but once uh, it has to be go more than 10,000 students, only then this data will be valid. But because when they will do these data with the 10,000 students, these values will be very much low. I'm very much sure, because they choose these 227 students in which the values become the highest. So they didn't told that these experiments were done randomly, blind, but this was, they said this is a blind placebo. But why they choose 227 students only? Why not 300? Why not 400? So they chose only those students in which the values were becoming increased, and they left the one which does not, and they wanted to show higher things. So there's always a scam behind this processed food. I'm just sharing one example here, but I'm pretty much sure there's Maggie, or Maggie is also a hilarious product of our century. Um, what else? They say it's a healthy product. Ah, Safola oats. Uh, we are having this Safola oats, masala oats. So okay, they have oats around 69. This we can get very cheap in the market. Okay, we don't need to have uh, only 69.3. So they have this salt dried vegetable only 1.51%, and they're also dried. They are not fresh. Onion powder, sugar, uh, desiccated coconut, spices, chili, garlic, tomato hydrolyzed. So everything is available for us, but they didn't told, because there are a lot of other stuff is added to it. Yeah, here, anti-caking agent, acidity regulator, flavor enhancer, INS 627, INS 631, and they contains natural colors, INS 100, added flavors, natural identical flavor substances, and this is non-vegan. So this is these are additives: silicon dioxide, citric acid, disodium glyconate, disodium isonate. So, being a students of biochemistry, please make sure that what you are eating, what you are getting, read these things at the background. Try to identify them, because even I was not doing it since many years. But I recently started to read that what we are eating, what's going on, because these things are going in our body on the regular basis. Yeah, it will not harm if we take it at once, but we are taking it them twice a week. I'm pretty much sure the level of our intelligence, the level of our immune system, the level of our energy will gradually decrease with the time. So that's why the natural products, natural food, no processed things should be giving more priority to these things. Yeah, so please do take care of that, because I just started to read these lipids names. My senses went to the products that are producing in our processed food there, because these people, these multinational companies, they are giving to the scientists huge amount of money so that they can market. So it's all about marketing at the end. It doesn't matter how the nutritious your food is. Even the Nestle's product, sorry to say that, they are big MNC companies, and they pay huge amount to make the things, like lot of advertisement coming on the TV. Why a Bonvita needs to come on the TV? because one thing started to come regularly on the TV. So it's a psychology of the kids and the parents. Oh, this seems pretty good. Yeah, they make this very fancy in our body. Things are getting up and all this. Yeah, I'm very sad that it's not even in India. It's all over the world that's happening. It's all over the world. It's just about what marketing and selling fake things. Bache, milk is highly adult. I mean, getting water in the milk from your local vendor. I'm pretty much sure you're getting 20 to 30% water. And beyond that, the milk that we are getting from the cow, and then it's getting processed and getting into these plastic bags. We don't know what we are drinking for the long term, and we don't know these cows that they are producing these milk, and they're producing milk for the whole year. So they are giving us steroids and hormones to give milk for the whole year. Yeah, they are giving, so artificially they are producing milk from them. It's not natural because they want profit. So this mother dairy, all the big MNC, they just think about profit, 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 and not for the health of the human beings. So that's the current time that we are living. So I don't know from where we can get the pure milk also. Okay, so that was something about our body. What should we eat? We cannot avoid all these things because they become part of our life. They become part of our habits, our lifestyle. So then there is a oleic acid and cis oleic acid and trans oleic acid. This mono unsaturated with 18 carbon atoms with one double bond into that. So the cis and the trans, the main difference is that on the one side they will have these double bonds HH. It will make like a triangle, and then the trans, it will be just straightforward. It will go up and down, and then you to fatty acids. So that's the cis oleic acid and trans double bonds and cis double bonds. So now we were discussing about here MUFA and PUFA, which having no double bonds actually. Um, this MUFA and PUFA. The PUFA has these two types, omega 6 and omega 3. So atherosclerosis, that is having thick plates of fat that is being there in over the blood vessels, it will prevent this PUFA. Prostaglandins, isocyanide are synthesized with the help of this fatty acids PUFA. They participate in the structure of all cellular subcellular membranes and transporting plasma phospholipids. They're essential for skin integrity, normal growth, and reproduction. In blood clotting, in wound healing, they are very important. Preventing and treating fatty liver, an important role in the health of retina and vision also. And they could be oxidized also for energy production. So many important aspects of PUFA. But what if there is a deficiency in their diet, in our diet? This could lead to some diseases. Its symptoms includes poor growth, health with susceptibility to infections and dermatitis, and decreased capacity to reproduce, and impaired transport of lipids and fatty liver, and lower resistance to stress. Yeah? So you can't take stress much. Your fatty acids and liver, they cannot be transferred, and they decrease capacity to reproduce. And beyond that, there's a poor growth and health with susceptibility to infections and dermatitis. The sources of PUFAs are your vegetable oils such as corn oil, peanut oil, olive oil, cottonseed oil, soybean oil, and many more. Cod liver oil from the fish, animal fats. But so far, till moment, even the foreigners and the whole world, the best oil at the moment is the olive oil. It's one of the expensive one, of course. I used to buy the expensive one when I was in Germany, but from the all oils, from the fatty acids, glycerol, cholesterol perspective, the healthy option is your olive oil. And one thing that we do in India, it says it's good. I don't know how it is good. That we are using sunflower oil, sarson ka tel, and before making our food, we tend to add a lot of it. First of all, that our utensil, kadhai, I don't know what's called kadhai in English, frying pan. Yeah, your frying pan is half full with that sarson ka tel. Yes, and then we fry it until it starts to become black. I've seen this in many families in their houses when they're using sarson ka tel. They say it needs to be fried because then it is properly cooked. Because we all burn all its fatty acids, all the bonds that make that oil healthy for us, and we make it to the black, and then we add chonka, tadka, your onions, tomatoes, and spices. And they say by this the food become really tasty. So I'm just sharing some funny facts from our daily life that are happening day to day, but we never try to identify them and try to change them. So never ever do that. Yeah, even tell to your parents. Even I tell to my mom, but she never listens. She says food is not tasty. What can I do? Because the habits have been made like that. Because in the morning when you wake up, so now at the 7 a.m. in the also, your main habit in the morning is like, for me it's like, I just take my towel, my clothes, I just go fast into my washroom and just take bath because I need to be fresh to start this class. And the second thing is, my habit is automatically, I'm not even thinking about it, the brush is in my hands then. Yeah, then I just start doing the brush. So yeah, don't take it in funny way. I'm just saying the from the psychology perspective. So in the 19, let's say in the 18th century, in 17th century, there was no toothpaste at that time. Believe me, in 1970s and 1980s, there was no Pepsodent, there was no close-up. They have nothing, there was nothing, there was no brush also. So they were using natural way to clean their teeth. I don't know how they were doing in the past, but this was recent research in the America. They have this Pepsodent first of all. Yeah, and no one was doing that brush actually, because it was not habit in our society, and nobody was interested to do that. Believe me, that we are doing in the morning these brush, that we get this habit from our parents. So they told us, if you want to go to the school, you need to clean your teeth, because if you have bad teeth, they become yellow, and it's not look for your beauty of your face. So that's why the brush came, this habit came. The same way the habits need to be changed for our cooking style, the Indian cooking style. We put a lot of oil in this tadka, and then we want the taste food to be tasty. And yeah, so these are the habits that we have since many time, and it's still inbred in us. Because the foreigners, that what I see they were having, in the Germans especially, they were having very like bread jam in the morning, simple food in the breakfast, eggs or something. And then in the afternoon they eat really good food. Yeah, it should be warm, whether it's pasta, whether it's meat or fish, anything. Then in the night they are eating a cold food like soup or some green vegetables, something very light, and that's it. And that's it. No snacks in the evening, no tea time in the evening, just having a simple life. Not so much of crackers and namkeens, bhujia. We have haldiram in our lifestyle, haldiram. Yes, but it's okay. This is India, and we should be proud of our culture, what we are grown up, and this is our lifestyle, because this is also provide us immunity. Yeah, so this turmeric powder that we're eating since our childhood in our food, these spices, black pepper, right, all these things are always giving us a strong immunity in the stronger world. So no worries. So it has all. So from the olive oil, it's I made want to make that point. So that's also happening. So try to use, go in the market, Tell to your mom, it's time to cook food with olive oil now. We need to switch to healthier options. Then there is called rancidity. So what is rancidity is, it's basically a physicochemical change in the natural properties of the, I saw some message there. Yeah, they provide calcium and all this. I don't know how truthful it is. Try to get, your main nutrients. Sherry, I got your message. I really appreciate that you're working. I really, I'm on the YouTube now actually. So this will be streamed forever. It will be, this video will be there forever, and I will not delete these videos, these classes that we are having. So I just want to say that you're putting some good effort there. Nobody else is putting up, and you're sending at 9 p.m. in the night. We are having these lectures in the morning. So you made this list of amino acids of isoleucine with the meat, fish, cheese, eggs, lentils, nuts, leucine from the salmon, chickpeas. I really appreciate that. You're working on them and bringing things to us. That's great. So try, as you can see in this list, I can share this list in the group also. So from these point, you can have these amino acids from cheese, nuts, milk, meat. If you're vegetarian, try to take from another source: soya bean, beans, cheese nuts, uh, yeah, quinoa, milk, soya bean, and so on. So this was the biochemistry. Yeah. So this olive oil is expensive though. You also put them on your hair. Fiagro is the one, 100 gram only, 165. If you take the bigger one, it's 800 or so. So they are expensive. Yes, they are expensive. They are get from the olives. These olives that we eat over the pizzas. So the oil is getting from that. Okay. Now let's talk about rancidity. So it's a physiochemical change in the natural properties of the fats, leading to the development of unpleasant odor or taste or abnormal color, particular on aging after exposure to the atmospheric oxygen, light, moisture, bacteria, or fungal contamination or heat. Yeah. So these fatty acids, these fats, could become really giving very bad odor, very bad taste, very different color from the normal, just because of being exposed to light, oxygen, moisture, bacteria, or any fungal contaminations, or even high heat. So that property of making your fat bad is called rancidity, and it could be of three types, that is hydrolytic rancidity, oxidative rancidity, and ketonic rancidity. Hydrolytic, oxidative, and ketonic. So hydrolytic rancidity is due to the hydrolysis of the fat by the lipase enzyme from bacterial contamination at very high temperature and moisture. So you provide them very high temperature, very high moisture, so that bacteria could be available to that part. And if lipase enzyme is present, then yeah, the fat will be, or hydrolysis will happen. The water molecules will break out, and then oxidative rancidity. In this, oxidation happens of your fat or oil. So due to the exposure of oxygen, light, or heat, producing peroxide derivatives that are toxic and have bad odor. And then third one is ketonic rancidity. This is due to the contamination with the fungal contamination, and moisture is present. Then it's accelerate the ketonic rancidity. Yeah. So three types: hydrolytic rancidity, oxidative rancidity, and ketonic rancidity. So make sure your oil, your fat, your butter, everything that is present, do not provide them high temperature for long time. Do not provide them moisture so that your bacteria or fungi starts to grow over them. Do not provide lots of heat, lots of exposure to oxygen. Just keep them in refrigeration over the long time. That's the best thing. Otherwise, rancidity will happen. The same thing will happen to your oil. The oil that you're using, that we are using for the cooking of food, they even in the Chinese, Indian Chinese food that we go and eat, Indian Chinese food. So they also put that oil, lot of oil, and they fry it. They do everything at very high heat. All the food that has been prepared by the Chinese, they're all done at the very high heat, which is not good. Which is not good. So all the food that has been cooked at the slow heat, at the slow temperature, low temperature, it's better for your health. So how we can prevent this sensitivity? How we can make this so avoidance of the causes. So we can, the cause was like light, oxygen, moisture, high temperature, bacteria, fungal. So we need to avoid all these causes, the reason for contamination. So we keep them in the closed containers in the cold, dark and dry place, and we can add antioxidants to it. The most common natural antioxidant is vitamin E. If we add vitamin E to them, then yeah, so these antioxidants, so they're also playing a bigger, that was my PhD topic, redox regulation of phosphatases in heart failure. So we were working actually giving human being with some antioxidants in order to see whether we can prevent the heart failure. So far we didn't get success from the clinical trials, but lot of research is going on to maintain our oxidation and reduction level right in our body. So what are the hazards of these rancid acids? So the product that are being produced by these rancid fats, they are really toxic and they could cause food poisoning and even cancer. Yeah, you know, this cancer thing was not common in India before. This cancer, yeah, I don't know how many of you are into this McDonald's and um, KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, which is actually is made at very high temperature within the pressure cooker and deep fried. So that is also rancid fats. The food that you are having over these KFC's chicken, this crispy fried chicken, which seems to be very tasty, but they are rancid. Yeah, and that's why in the USA we see lots of cases of cancer also. Most of these people are, they're dependent upon the fast food chains, and the more we go to the alternative artificial kind of food, because they made them quite tasty, you feel really good because when the fat touch to your tongue, it gives you serotonin. Yeah, in our body, serotonin is the hormone which is produced, which makes you happy for that time. But the fat that will be deposited in our thick layer of our organs, that we don't know about that. So, and they could destroy the fat soluble vitamins like vitamin A, D, K, E, and they also destroy the polyunsaturated essential fatty acids, um, PUFA. These are your PUFAs. They also cause economical loss because of rancid fat is inedible. They are unfit to eat also. So lipids we will do about tomorrow. Lipids we have discussed today actually. So this is what happened. This is the, yeah, you become this Adnan Sami and then you get operation. So be careful with the food. Have a regular exercise. Yeah, I will share this later tomorrow. Have regular exercise day and night. In the morning, have some meditation. Have a healthy lifestyle. Drink your milk. Yeah, without any additives to it. Try to add. You can add cardamom. Yeah, cardamom is really good. Cardamom. Little bit sugar, jaggery. Instead of sugar, you can use jaggery. Even sugar is adulterated at the moment. So try to use jaggery made from good. Yeah. So thank you very much. We see us tomorrow and we'll discuss about lipids then. Bye. Take care. Have a nice day. All the best for the day then. Thank you so much.